Meet Russia's Mikoyan supersonic interceptor aircraft MiG-31. Mikoyan MiG-3, also known as Foxhound by its NATO reporting name, is a supersonic interceptor aircraft which was built for the Soviet Air Forces. Well known for being one of the fastest combat jets in the world, MiG-31 was manufactured and designed by Mikoyan, a Russian aerospace and defense company based in Moscow. MiG-31 shares similar elements with the MiG-25 and undeniably was made to replace the earlier MiG-25 Foxbat. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we are talking about Russian supersonic interceptor aircraft Mikoyan MiG-31 and see what's so special about it. So, let's get going. The Defense Ministry of Russia expects the MiG-31 to be functioning in service until 2030 and beyond. This declaration was confirmed in 2020 when the government did an announcement about extending the service lifetime from 2,500 to 3,500 hours on the already existing airframe. Let's first take a look at the history of the Mikoyan MiG-31. The Soviet Union's Air Defense Forces, VPVO, required a number of large interceptors to monitor its vast boundaries during the Cold War. Most light fighters, such as the early MiGs, were not adequate to the task, as they lacked the range and speed to quickly climb and intercept supersonic American bombers flying over the Arctic to drop bombs on the Soviet Union. The single-seat MiG-25 could fly at high speeds, altitudes, and rates of climb. Nevertheless, it lacked flexibility at low altitudes and was difficult to fly. The MiG-25's top speed was generally limited to Mach 2.83, although with the danger of engine damage, it might reach Mach 3.2 or higher. Development of the replacement for MiG-25 started with Yi-155MP prototype, which flew on 16th of September 1975. Though it shares some similar characteristics with MiG-25, the prototype had a longer fuselage proficient of housing the radar operator's cockpit and was designed quite differently. A notable development at this stage was the MiG-31's advanced radar, with the skill for both look-up and look-down confrontation as well as numerous target tracking. With far more sophisticated weapons, sensors, and enhanced capacity of range which was almost double from the MiG-25, the MiG-31 substituted the Tu-128 as the long-range interceptor serving the Soviet Union since the 1960s. The updated capacity of MiG-31 gave the Soviet Union an interceptor with the effectiveness to confront the Western intruders comprised of low-flying missiles and bombers at comparably long range. The MiG-31 began to be serially produced in 1979. A flock of 4 MiG-31 interceptors can control an airspace with a total length of 800 to 900 kilometers, and its radar was capable of detecting targets up to a maximum range of 200 kilometers in distance, the typical detection length along the front of 225 kilometers. Design-wise, the MiG-31 was exceptionally skilled to fulfill several objectives. First, to intercept cruise missiles as well as the launching aircraft by seizing missile launch range in the quickest possible means. Second, to safeguard the strategic bombers in long-range missions. Third, distinguish and attack low-flying cruise missiles, UAVs, and helicopters. And lastly, supply possible air defense in some areas which were not protected by ground-based air defense systems. The production of MiG-31 ended in 1994. For the first batch of production, a total of 519 MiG-31s, including 349 baseline models, was produced at the Sokol plant between the period of 1976 and 1988, while the final batch of MiG-31B variant was produced between 1990 and 1994. In the final phase of production, the total 50 aircraft were acquired by the Kazakhstan Air Force following the fall of the Soviet Union. Now, let's see what kind of features the MiG-31 has. Well, just like its predecessor, MiG-25, MiG-31 is a large twin-engine aircraft with side-mounted intake ramps and shoulder-mounted wings, with 2.94 ratio aspect along with 2 vertical tail fins. Thanks to its highly aerodynamic and streamlined body, MiG-31 is skilled when it comes to flying with high speeds at relatively low altitude, though it doesn't hamper the aircraft from tracking multiple targets concomitantly at high altitudes, as the design allows MiG-31 to do so. On the other hand, combined materials like welded nickel, steel, titanium, aluminum alloy, and composites made up the aircraft's airframe, which each of the materials has different portions of percentage. Looking to its cockpit, MiG-31 is complemented with digital avionics, such as multifunction displays, MFDs, and liquid crystal displays, LCDs, to help the aircraft keep updated instrument readings and information regarding the radar. On both the front and back sides of the cockpit, 0 ejection seats are installed to allow the pilot to fly at his or her selected height and airspeed. The pilot sits in the front cockpit seat, while the Weapons System Officer, WSO, sits in the back cockpit seat, supervising radar operations and weapon deployment, reducing the pilot's workload and enhancing efficiency. For the armament, MiG-31 is fitted with 4 long-range R-33 air-to-air missiles, codenamed AA-9 (AMOS) by NATO. The launching of R-33 can be done in inertial navigation mode in order to destroy targets at extreme range. 4 R-60 short-range missiles and 2 Bisnovet R-40 TD-1 medium-range missiles are also on board. The MiG-31 aircraft has a 6-barrel 30mm internal gun, GHS 6-23M, mounted above the starboard main landing gear bay. The cannon has an ammunition capacity of 800 rounds and can fire at a rate of nearly 10,000 shots per minute. The AA-12 Adder missile and numerous Russian air-to-ground missiles, AGMs, such as the AS-17 Krypton anti-radiation missile, can be carried by the MiG-31 BM variant. On top of that, MiG-31 is designed to take on huge, fast targets like the SR-71 Blackbird, B-1 Lancer Bomber, and B-52 Stratofortress. Presently, the MiG-31 is considered the standard long-range interceptor of the Russian Air Force and is expected to be active until the 2030s. The MiG-31 was also chosen as the primary carrier aircraft for the Kinzhal hypersonic missile. A mid-life upgrade of the MiG-31 is currently being procured, and this modification will integrate a number of new strike weapons onto the MiG-31 and modernize most of its systems. Finally, let's take a look at the operational history of the MiG-31. The main operator of MiG-31 is the Soviet Union Air Forces. In 1981, the Soviet Air Defense Forces, PVO, deployed the MiG-31 in combat. More than a decade later, in 1992, Russia offered the MiG-31 to Finland as part of a new fighter selection program, but the offer was not accepted because Russia had already presented the MiG-29. Finland declined the offer and instead recruited a fresh fighter from a selection program. On the other side, Syria ordered 8 MiG-31 aircraft for its Air Force in 2007. The order was apparently delayed in May 2009 due to Israeli pressure or a shortage of Syrian cash. 6 MiG-31s were reportedly supplied to the Syrian Arab Air Force on August 15, 2015, according to the Turkish news outlets, but Russia denied making MiG-31 aircrafts for Syria. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Till then, be safe and stay well.